Hi, I'm Paige Deers. I'm here at the Cornet Global Conference in Atlanta speaking with experts, and I'm here with Lee Utke of Whirlpool. Lee, you're a panelist. You're talking about turning trash properties, the surplus assets, into treasure. And how big of a problem is that for corporate real estate today?
Well, unfortunately, there are a lot of companies that have surplus properties. The reality is we don't look at it as purely a real estate transaction or transition issue. It's rather, how do we reuse that facility, the employees, and the equipment to make it back to a productive use. At the end of the day, that's more important than the absolute bottom line. So we try to reverse engineer it, and we try to take a look at how we can find other adaptive uses for that workforce, and just so happens it has a box around it that's real estate. If that doesn't work, then you do work on other ways to minimize its cost. You look at ways to reposition it for other uses. You look at supplemental uses in the meantime to offset your holding costs. At the end of the day, it's a proactive approach. It's one that you need to be very aggressive and focused on to be successful. And you need to be open and honest with yourself and the company and your stakeholders, both internal and external, so that you can have a larger organization helping support you than just your internal team.
Makes a lot of sense, Lee. And are you finding that the panelists covered why these things are happening? Is it obsolescence of the building? Are we seeing a lot of M&A activity that just drives surplus assets? Or is this really a time for corporations to think about selling those assets and returning some capital to the business? What are the drivers behind this?
Well, I think every firm has very unique circumstances for it. M&A certainly in our last few years drove probably about half of it, but the reality is that the markets are not very robust right now in some ways for sale-leasebacks. So the ability to move forward, to look at your opportunities, again, don't be afraid to be honest with yourself, and then identify a strategy and be aggressive with it. That's the number one key.
Well, it's a good point, because properties that might not be, your treasure could be to somebody else. So we just can't underestimate the use of these assets. So is this really a bottom line advantage that every corporation should be looking at, and that is driving value from their surplus assets?
Absolutely. I mean, every dollar that you spend is a dollar lost, and you have to be forward-looking. You have to figure out ways that you can recoup as quickly as you can. And again, you have to make it a priority. You have to have a focused team, lots of talent on the team, and make sure it is a team approach. So again, utilizing Jones Lang LaSalle or those types of resources are critical to understanding the local neighborhood, so to speak, in order to be successful.
Well, it sounds like we should look at our portfolios, because there might be a hidden jewel in those portfolios. Thanks for sharing your ideas with us, Lee. We appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you for your time.